Shalom, first and foremost, Kanya Kodam, Sikoengwa, the whole Mashiach Rashad, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who do rule and teach well. The young brother here, once again, going to be going into a few things, a few topics, Lord willing, it's all edifying, and yeah, we're just going on. Yo, go in. Got all my gear, so I'm ready. There's nothing to it but to do it, you know. Alright, so this is naturalnews.com. IMF reveals Unicoin a global CBDC. Move this back a little bit because that's in front of the camera. You gotta remember how I usually set things up. Yeah. So that's better. That's actually worse. As opponents of a central bank digital currencies are getting more vocal in the criticism of this type of digital version of paper money that many countries are either adopting or are closer to doing so, that makes me think of Nigeria. Nigeria is getting ready to, well, not even getting ready, they have tried out certain things with CBDC. It didn't go really too well with Nigerians. They started to buck up against it, you know, like what Jake does. You know, some Jakes out there, they did their research and they started to fight against it. The IMF spring meetings this year saw the announcement of the organization's own international central bank digital currency called the Universal Monetary Unit. People don't pay attention, man. They're probably looking at me trying to laugh at me or some shit. But what I call the Universal Monetary Unit, aka Unicoin. The IMF said in a statement that Universal Monetary Units functions like a CBDC and is a legal and global money commodity. The purpose of this particular iteration of the CBDCs is to make sure banking regulation are enforced, as well as to protect the financial integrity of the international banking system. So the International Monetary Fund, which is like, I mean, I heard certain people online say it's like a bigger, more international federal bank in a way. Like countries have issues, they go to the International Monetary Fund, they get loans, but the loans are ended up being so big that pretty much the IMF owns your country. And you have to pay back those loans at interest, you know, and that leaves them pretty much running your country. Like the scripture says, actually, this is actually a good one to start. Borrower. So this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and 7. Proverbs 22 and 7. The rich ruleth over the poor. Hold on. Yeah, 22 and 7. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. Alright, so the rich rule over the poor, and that's how it runs, man. You know, the people who are rich are the ones that pay the bills, that, you know, provide the monetary assistance to people. You know, they bail people out. The rich are the ones that have the pull to tear down people. You know, someone who's rich can have people spread a rumor and, you know, tear you down, right? Like it says in Psalm 6, the 64th chapter, they shoot their arrows in secret. You know, that's them creating their propaganda. Because we have very rich and powerful people who have a vendetta against us, and they use their influence to pull strings and basically, come after us. Make us. They'll work on certain things, but they'll work on these other Israelite camps out here. They'll have them come out and say that GMS is a camp of rapists, even though no GMS brother anywhere has ever been to prison for rape. Or they'll say that we're woman haters, or that we hit women, and that's not true. So just make the shit up. Right? And a borrower is servant to the lender. Alright, so we know what a borrower is, right? When you're a kid, someone borrows, like you borrow some money from someone, you gotta owe them back, you gotta give them back their cash, or if they ask you to do something and they say, hey man, can you don't give me back the $1, just just buy me a bag of chips and we'll call it even, then you gotta go do that. Alright, so the borrower is in fact servant to the lender. And when the central bank digital currency is created, right, who's going to be lending out the money? The Fed. In our cases in the United States would be the Federal Reserve, which the Federal Reserve is just as federal as FedEx. The Federal Reserve is not federal at all. It's a privately owned entity, with a private board of individuals, I think, and they're all unelected. They are all unelected. It's a board of unelected individuals, and the president can't say nothing against them, man. The Federal Reserve runs on their own basis. They control the runnings of the economy, So yeah, and I don't know if it says it here, but what's going to go with this central bank digital currency will be the microchip, which I will I will touch on here after we read some more of this article. So the IMF in a statement that the Universal Monetary Unit functions like a CBDC is a legal and global money commodity, right, which is backed up by nothing. It's a fiat currency. So that's why I said it's going to come with the implantable chip, all right? Because it's like, here's your free nothings, but to get these free nothings, you need to do something for us, all right? The currency will be used by bank via the SWIFT codes and bank accounts linked to a universal monetary unit digital wallet. So I think George Gammon actually talked about this. You're going to have it where you have like a universal monetary unit, and then this will be like the way people switch, right? Like we'll have like Fed coin and stuff like that, and then if you want to switch up, you move through that thing, to the universal monetary unit. Like there's going to still be international bank, but there'll be like central banks and stuff. They'll just move in between each other. I believe Gammon put it like that. That seems the way they're going to do it, because there's a Fed coin. The UK is working on their own CBDC. Don't know the name of it, but I know they were working on it. I know that the UK, they're getting rid of a lot of ATMs, and they're doing that for a reason. Get people more using tech, and eventually people will just be stuck on their phones. They'll have chip in them, and that'll be that. That'll be for these people. Which I don't care. I don't care. So the scheme is supposed to allow for digital cross-border payments modeled after SWIFT. Yeah, like I said, it promises best wholesale exchange rates of settlement currencies of real-time settlement while bypassing the corresponding banking system. All right, so I actually want to look at what SWIFT is, because I didn't really look at these articles. I just I saw them and I put them up. I'm just going straight up off the cuff here. Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. Related to the execution of financial transactions and payments between banks worldwide. Okay, so that's what this universal monetary unit will be. It's basically going to be like a transfer point for people doing international expenses. Like say if you have a cousin or something that that's a damn devil, right? So you got like a cousin who lives in like Germany. I don't, but I'm making an example. So you have a cousin that lives in Germany, and you want to turn him, give him some money for like, I don't know, I'm going to say his birthday because that's wicked. So you just want to give him some money as just a friendly gift, you know? Like here, you know, I know you just had a baby and all, here's some money. So you have to translate it through this release of the article, so you have to transfer it through this international universal monetary unit, and then that'll be converted to Deutsche coin, Deutsche coin, or whatever it would be called, German coin, and then your cousin would get his money. I'm just naming an example. I'd say you would be giving your cousin who's not in the truth any money. If he was in the truth, obviously, perhaps. It depends. He was in the truth, and I say, hey brother, here you go. If he needs it, if he like hacks you for it. That's what I say, it depends. At the same time, IMF officials describing the current cross-border payment system as slow, expensive, and risky, while declaring that UMO's Universal Monetary Unit's goal is not disruption of the international monetary system such as it is, but rather to further strengthen it. And that's what I've been talking about. They're not going to uproot the current way the banking system runs. All they're going to do is just switch around certain things, switch around the ledger system from using just, regular currency to using this. So they're not going to completely uproot everything. They're just going to switch some things around where things go. Like I said, with FedCoin, they're still probably going to keep private banks to a certain degree. A lot of them, especially the smaller intermediary banks, are probably going to go bellies up. Private banks are probably used for like investments. Right, come on, man, get out of here. Camera. It's a bug. Yeah. We're all good here. Just close my bag. Bugs and stuff running around. It's upstate. Yeah. So yeah. What was I saying? They're not going to completely uproot the way the banking system runs, because that would be much too much work. But as I said, with FedCoin, all they're going to do is switch it from what we have it now. We have more small intermediary banks. Like obviously you go to like a Chase bank, or you have this bank here, Key Bank. In that bank, you deposit your money, and they, it's supposed to give you back interest and stuff like that. But interest rates are horrible right now. From what I hear, I don't really deal with a whole lot of that stuff, man. I got, I deal with that stuff a little bit, but man, I ain't got enough money to be worrying about interest rates or investments and shit. But I know how it works though, because that whole thing goes back to something reserve banking, fractional reserve banking. So pretty much the bank, they'll give you your money, and then they'll take your money and then spend it elsewhere, but they're not supposed to use a certain amount of the bank reserves, but the bank uses 2 or 3 times the amount of reserves they have on hand, which is, that's why we're in the position we are. And then when people, start to withdraw like a lot of money, I think that's where you get the whole bank runs thing, where now they just really can't even really function, because they create a bunch of stuff on a balance sheet, and all that. That's how it works. I'm probably screwing it up here, but you can look for it yourself. I'll probably get back into it on my own. Not only that, but the IMF looks set on rebranding the term crypto, normally associated with decentralized digital currencies, that leave central banks and governments out of the picture. Crypto 2.0 is how the IMF would market universal monetary units and likely CBDCs in general. Yeah, so they're going to market it using crypto, but in reality, it's, they'll say, oh, it will be decentralized, but it's not going to be decentralized. It'll be everything was centralized. And then cryptocurrency, I believe the guy who came up with it, they say that he was CIA, or that he worked on a CIA hash or something. He worked, well, the CIA basically, or the FBI or something like that. I think it was the CIA. Gave him, no, it was the CIA, it was the NSA. It was the NSA. One of these alphabet soup groups basically gave him the hash, like, I guess, like the programming base. I guess that's what that means. You know, they gave him a code to go come up with Bitcoin. You know, so Bitcoin is not decentralized. You know, that stuff is all, you know, sellout, man. You know. Meanwhile, currency CBDCs are using strong words to express their position to the trend, with some calling it a path towards financial slavery that is always a handy companion to political tyranny. You know, which it really seems like not really the universal monetary income will be like the enemy per se. It'll be more like your own government's currency that will be the issue, because the universal monetary unit just seems like a switch. You know, like as I said, if you want to send your cousin Joey in Germany some money because he just had a baby, all right, and you want to give him a little gift or something, it seems like the universal monetary unit will just be the switch ahead, or the go-between point. You know, where you hold your money and then you convert it into, as I said, which would probably be something like Deutsche coin or German coin or whatever they call it in Germany. I don't know if Germany, well, I know Germany's gonna have it, but I don't know what it's called. You know. I haven't really looked into other countries like that. I probably should. I know Australia is using it. You know, so not using it, but I think I heard something that they're getting into that. You know, but everyone's gonna get into it, man. You know, everyone. You know, China's getting into it. You know, I'm pretty sure Russia's gonna hop on board with it. You know, everyone's gonna hop on board with it. You know, because it's about power. You know? But it's the thing which, you know, what it seems, the thing that'll be the real enemy will be your own country, because your own country, like a Fed coin, they'll give it to you, and then it seems like your own country be the one to set the limits and bounds for what you could do with that money. Like you get, so you get some money from your job, right, or whatever, and then you'll have an expiration date. You have to spend that money by, you know, I don't know, like 2 months from now. So now you can't save it. You can't save anything. You just gotta spend it. More criticism has to do with CBDCs being seen as a way of introducing social credit scores and digital IDs, which you will, this having individuals fully ceded to the government control over their own assets in order the amount they spend. Unlike cash and decentralized crypto, which crypto is, they own crypto too, man. They're all over that crypto shit. CBDCs are feared to spell the end of private financial affairs and usher in even more surveillance by the authorities. All right, so that's what is going on with that. So we're gonna get some basics here, run through the classics of Revelation 13, and that will be all she wrote for this article. I don't think I'm really going to get into the whole Mark of the Beast thing here. I think we should just get to the point. We'll start at verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he held 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So he had 2 horns like a lamb, representing the 2 political parties, Democrat, Republican, which neither of them care about you. You know, Republicans, they think that, you know, Jake is goofy and we're just a bunch of criminals, and then Democrats basically think that, you know, we're like children and we need to have our hands held like little babies. You know, so neither side of the political spectrum respects you. Neither part of the political spectrum cares about you. You know, because you're a Jacob. You're an Israelite. They don't care about you. They see you guys like the bottom. We're at the bottom of the totem pole when nations are concerned. Speak as a dragon. So speaking as that Roman Empire, you know, Revelation, the 12th chapter, you know, they call him a dragon, and there's a bunch of the scriptures that calls them a dragon. I'm pretty sure it's the 12th chapter, but you can go look it up. Well, some of that stuff talks about Rome back then, and certain things talk about Rome right now. Because American native of the EU is Neo-Rome. And he's all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and none which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Right, so the power of the first beast before him represents the Roman Empire, right? It causes the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. How's it going? Question? All right. So yeah, so the deadly wound was healed. So Rome, the first beast was Rome. You know, and America is coming back as Rome. How can I prove that? Well, America's infrastructure is based on Roman infrastructure. You know, look at Capitol Hill, for example. I'm too tall for this thing. I gotta put this up a little bit. Cranking my neck. Yeah, so think about Capitol Hill. I think about Capitolium Hill. You know, think about how back then Rome had coliseums, and what do we have now? What's the modern day coliseum? We have things like football, and even the football stadiums look exactly like a Roman coliseum. You know, if you ever been inside the Barclays to watch a basketball game, its shape looks just like a coliseum. Stadiums are basically just coliseums. You know, and what's one of the biggest things when you think about the gladiatorial arena? What would be like a modern day gladiatorial arena? The UFC. You know, the UFC would be like your gladiatorial arena, and then you have the same bread and circus. Like Rome back then had bread and circuses, things to distract the people. Right? You got the same things today. The bread and circus, the stuff that's meant to, you know, distract the commoner. You know, to please the commoner, so that the you know, those in power can do as they please. You know, and that's what's going on. You know, sports are basically just bread and circus. And sports, if you do any research, you'll see sports are rigged, man. You know, I did some research about the first UFC tournament, and I think that shit was rigged, because I think it was just all to basically just you know, get people to like file Gracies and do the whole BJJ thing, to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, to like market it, because they had like sumo wrestlers and shit, and yeah, I think that stuff was rigged. So verse 13, if you do a great wonder, so you maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Alright, so fire from heaven, what does that make you think of? Nuclear missiles. Alright. Alright, and nuclear missiles, and what I'm really thinking about is the atomic bomb. Hiroshima and Nagasaki were the first ones. And the plan to nuke Hiroshima and Nagasaki was actually formulated at Bohemian Grove. And that's a well-known fact. You know, so Bohemian Grove is actually a place where people do make some decisions. You know, so they don't just make decisions at Bilderberg and G7 and all these other places. They also make decisions here, you know, at Bohemian Grove. You know, we also know that they worship an owl and burn a human effigy to an owl. Verse 14, deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had a wound by a sword and did live. Alright, so deceived them by means of those miracles. Alright, so like nukes, nuclear bombs, and you know, all the stuff, they're all miraculous surgeries where they can, heal you of like, which back then would be, fatal illnesses, that you would probably die from unless you were in the truth, or in Israel, because we had ways of healing people with herbs and stuff, and certain things can do certain things. With certain things now, man, back then would probably be fatal, like HIV. I mean, I guess maybe herbs can heal HIV. I don't really know, but herbs can do a lot, But now they got certain things and surgeries. Well, how about this? How about breaks? Like breaks, amputations. They had ways of healing that back then, but certain things that you could go through now that's like fatal, you would probably have a higher chance of dying back then than you would now. You probably have a higher chance of getting infected back then, and nowadays you got all this stuff around and whatever to prevent infection, and they claim that that's miracles. But all that stuff just keeps you alive. All their drugs and stuff. Yeah. Told the earth that they should make an image to the beast that had the womb by sword to live, right? So make an image meaning the system. That they should make a system and follow after the beast. What does it mean that the image of the beast which had the womb by sword and did live? Well, Rome actually fell in history, and you had the rise of something called the Holy Roman Empire. It was about 400 AD or something like that, 300 something AD. You can look it up for yourself. But Rome fell. Right, but at that time, Rome was already ran by Jakes. Whoa, I'm actually fucking up here. But really, the end is the end of Holy Rome, right? But the end really started a little bit earlier, because there was times, I think it started with Nerva, then the sea lion that came, where she didn't have children. The guys that came after him that would succeed him, those were Jakes, like Hadrian and Septimius Severus, Caracalla, so on and so forth. Those guys, that was actually the end of Esau's rulership in Rome back then. You got what they call the 5 good emperors. Verse 16, verse 15. He had power to give life to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many who does not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So if this is talking about an actual image or like a painting or something, paintings don't talk. Alright, the image of the beast is actually the system. And how does the system speak? Presidents, co-presidents, let's see, I said co-presidents, like vice president, senators, governors, district attorneys, police chiefs, all these guys from the upper level dudes to the lower level dudes, people that run the Department of the Interior, people that run the Department of Energy, you name it. Verse 16, he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand on their foreheads. Right, so receive a mark in their right hand on their foreheads, So, that mark, which when you go into the word mark, right, it's charagma. You go back, it's karax, right? So charagma means a mark, printed mark, right? Badge of servitude. We actually need to get a little bit deeper here, so we'll give you some more info. I want to give you the full definition here. So, scratch or etching, right? So a scratch or an etching, something etched, right? Now, scratch, cut, something etched into you. So something has to be etched, carved into you. Something has to be carved and put into you. Okay? And then goes to G5482, Carax. Was a pale, a stake, or a palisade or rampart, which is like a stake, would be the actual chip itself. So something has to be inserted into you, right? Something sharp, inserted into you, right? Pails between which earth, stones, and trees are heaped and packed together. We know what a stake is. A stake. That's a new one. Oh, no. I clicked the wrong thing. And then it goes back to grapho. So grapho means express in written characters, to commit to writing. Use those things which are stand written in those sacred books of the Old Testament. To fill with writings, draw up in writing, compose. And that's all that data is. It's just a bunch of strings put together, and within the microchip, there'll just be a bunch of strings of your data, all locked in together inside of this chip. And they'll have your age, your height, your weight, your birth date. It'll have everything, your medical records, when you checked into the hospital, what you were diagnosed with, what prescriptions you bought, and everything you buy, everything you do, all of your data will be on this chip, right? So right in the right hand or in the forehead. So when you go into that word forehead, which is the second part of this, which I always like to get into, it's metopon, right? And the first part is meta, which means beyond or behind, right? This is G3326. Accompany it, amid, case, among, follow, hence, together, but really means in this one after or behind, right? So we say like a meta-human, which means someone who's beyond human, right? Like you read comics, those are supposed to be like meta-humans, they're beyond human, they have powers, When we get spiritual power, we'll be meta-humans, meaning beyond human, meaning that we won't be bound by human limitations such as stamina and things such as that. And we'll have the power to run, jump, lift freakish amounts of weight, which we're not going to talk about that, but that's what I need. I want that. That's what I'm looking for. I need to lift freakish amounts of weight. What the fuck is that? Spider or some shit? I killed him. Nah. Yeah. Right, so when you put it two together, meta and then pon, this means behind your head, beyond the head. So what's beyond the head or beyond your face is your brain. So it will be implanted in people's brains, It will be implanted inside of people's brains. And I know man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Alright, save he, so no man will buy or sell, right? So everyone from the richest guy to the smallest guy are going to be given this chip. They're going to be persuaded to get to this chip, because we go into that word made, it actually means to persuade or to cause to. So they're going to be caused to get this chip. They'll say, hey man, you need to take this thing or else. And it has to be money here. No man might buy or sell. It has to be a digital currency that goes with it, because why else would a rich guy get it? That's what they're going to hold over the rich. They'll say, hey, you need to get this chip or else you're going to lose all your money. You'll be a bum. We'll take away all your money. We'll take it all and we'll remove it. The name of the beast, you go into the word name, this means vibration. Like a man puts his name on his woman. It's a vibration. Or you say, I'm going to get a name for myself, right? A reputation. It's a vibration, man. Like this is like a good name is worth more than gold. Having a good, solid reputation is more important than having money. Having people respect you. That's why it says, be a light of the world. You're supposed to, be fair with people. Try to be right. Don't go overboard. Sometimes people do stupid shit, you correct them. You know, a quick testimony. You know, I was in the gym doing my little thing, you know, with cable curls, and then some dude is Edomite is buzzing in my ear while I'm doing it, trying to ask me if someone else is using the other one that's right next to me. And I put it down and I tell him, hey man, first, never talk to someone while they're in their set, and secondly, you can go take it, no one's using it. I say maybe you just didn't know. But I tried to be nice to him. You know, some people say, oh, that was kind of mean of you to, man, I don't give a fuck. Don't fucking talk to me, man. I'm busy, you know. But, you know, I think that was disrespectful, you know, in my opinion. But I didn't make too big a deal about it. When you're a jig, we're used to being disrespected. So I got thick skin. You know. But if you put hands on me, then I'll beat it. You know, we don't gotta talk about that. You know, but he would pay for it. He would pay for it. You know. Right, make buy or sell, but so it has to be money. It can't be how the fuck you can't buy or sell if you have sin, man. People sin every day. We sin every day. I go to the store and buy a sandwich. So explain that. Explain it, man. If it's a white woman, I like white women. I deal with white women. I like them. You know, I like them, and I could go to the store and still date white women. Is that a big deal? No, it's not. It's not. Not gonna. What store has turned me away because I had a walking around with white women? No store's ever gonna do that. You know. Which you know, all that stuff. It ain't white woman. It's an actual chick, man. Stop the cat. All right, stop capping. All right, y'all are paid off, man. Y'all either pay off or y'all are just bugged out. I can't remember what brother said that. But a lot of brothers say that. But I remember I heard one brother say that I was rolling. It was like, man, y'all are either paid or y'all just bugged the fuck out. I think it was Elder Pastor Hart who said that. I heard him say that. I lost it. I was like, oh my gosh. Because I mean, like, how do you not see this? You know, like, how do you not see this, man? You know, here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for his number of a man is number 600 All right, so you know that's a big number for them. That's why, like the month of May, I think was it May 1st was when the Illuminati was founded. I think they call that May Day. So that's a big time for them. You know, May is a month where they like to do a lot of their stuff. And May goes back to 6, so that's a big month for Edomites, man. So that's the explanation of that. I gave you a thorough breakdown on that. I could go into more, but we don't need to. We're just going to talk about one more thing. And then I think I've talked about my points. Talked enough. It's not about talking for hours and hours on end. It's about talking about enough. It's about making a point and keeping it going. It's about making a stand, as we all know. You know, while everyone goes about their day, enjoying their life, I'm making a stand. You know, I'm really standing against the U.S. government because I'm bringing out articles that they don't like. I'm talking about stuff they don't want to hear. You know, so and they don't like it, man. Trust and believe. They don't like when people bring this stuff up. You know, that's why I said the devil should come down having great wrath, because we hit him where it hurts. Me, I'd be going into the history. I like going into military documents and stuff like that. You know, I like to remind them of their dirt. You know, I like to remind them of their dirt. You know, remember you did X, Y, and Z. Remember it was an Operation Sea Spray where you infected American City with disease. Remember that, huh? Yeah, you do, motherfucker. Yeah, you fucking do. Yeah, so zerohedge.com, 70% of Americans are financially stressed, 58% live paycheck to paycheck. A CNBC surveys show increasing financial stress in the United States. The Fed predicts more of it, and I am sure the Fed is correct. People are worried that the money that they save won't last long, and are worried they're going to have to lean on their credit cards and other sources of debt just to get by, said Bruce McClary, a senior vice president at the National Foundation for Credit Counseling. Well, shit has always been bad. It's always been getting worse. Shit is bad when you have a fucking payment plan for Jordans. Like, not to make fun of anyone that has to do it. But back in olden times, you would just save money and buy Jordans. But now there's a payment plan for Jordans. Now they have a payment plan for food. They didn't used to have that. You just pay money and get food. But people's finances are just getting so bad where now they have to have a payment plan. Shelter costs surge again. For 14 consecutive months, the cost of shelter has risen at least 0.5% from the preceding months. Shelter comprises 3.47% of the CPI, Consumer Price Index. Rent of primary residence is standard rent, not owner-owned, and furnished without utilities. We can skip this, right? So what's going on? The inverted yield curve in QT Act to restrict lending, which is quantitative tightening. Banks are fearful of recession and credit losses, so now they're starting to pull back. And all the banks that leveraged into duration are suffering mark-to-market losses on the Treasury and MBS portfolios. Banks know this, and yeah, so we're not gonna go into that. So they're losing on the Treasury bills. So I guess the Treasury bills or whatever stuff they invest in is losing value. So now they're a little bit worried. Fed minutes now predict a recession this year, along with higher employment. And as I said, don't quote me on this, man, because I'm not a financial analyst. All right. So Fed minutes now predict a recession this year, along with higher unemployment. The Fed forecasts a recession, calls for higher unemployment and below trend growth, with risks to the downside. The staff's prediction at the time of the March meeting included a mild recession starting later this year, with a recovery over the subsequent 2 years. The unemployment rate was projected to rise above the staff's estimate of its natural rate early next year. The Fed has never predicted a recession in advance. Was this a first, or has a recession already started? Perhaps you think there won't be a recession. Those 58% living paycheck to paycheck sure hope there won't be one. Meanwhile, President Biden is doing everything humanly possible with regulations, energy mandates, and support for unions to create more inflation. The dilemma for the Fed, and it's a huge one, is that credit conditions are very deflationary, which means like the buying power would go up. So it's just the opposite of inflation. But the economic policies of the administration, coupled with the trade wars everywhere, are very inflationary. That's right. We know that recently, was it OPEC? Or these OPEC nations, I think it was Arabia, they said they were going to start cutting like 10 billion barrels of gas, which of course that's going to be a problem. I've read stuff like maybe like 2 years ago that we're running out of our reserve gas. So eventually, we're going to run out of gas. All gas, no brakes, like Jake likes to say. All gas, no brakes. That means something else. That means that you all in, without brakes. That's a nice title for a video. All gas, no brakes. Someone made a video titled that already, I think. Never mind. Maybe they didn't. I'm going to touch on the basics. Revelation 6 and 5. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, "Come and see." And behold, I beheld the old black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And that pair of balances represents judgment, like slavery for us. Slavery is judgment because you were going off. You can read it all about Jeremiah The gods are as numerous as thy cities, O Judah. There's other ones, right? Like one that likens Judah to woman. You saw Israel going off, and Judah you ran right after. You can look that one up for yourself. Verse 6, I heard a voice come out of the midst of the four beasts, which are angels, say, a measure of wheat for a penny, 2 measures of barley for a penny. See thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Alright, so measures of wheat for a penny, right? So this really means evil is going to multiply, and also represents inflation, right? Oil is the truth, and wine is the truth. Pretty much the truth won't be destroyed or distorted. 2nd Ezra 16 and 17, woe is me, who delivered me in those days. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famines and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Because Ezra had a really good understanding on history, and he knew, shit, my voice is hoarse. He knew that he would be around these times, because Ezra's a prophet. So Ezra, he knew he would be around in these times that we're moving into, as we move into Jacob's trouble, and that's why he's saying this. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, right? That was that, right? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish, must send and scourges for a minute, right? All this inflation is going to lead to famines, not just job famines, where people lose their jobs. There's just scriptures for that. Ecclesiastes 12, I think it's Isaiah 19 talks about it. There should be no work for Egypt, though the hand are brushed, or rush. That just means like the higher level guys, like the rush and stuff like that, the big branch. You can look it up for yourself. That's why you have things like, and it makes sense too, right? Because you work in like corporate, you have stuff like branch chairs, branch heads, chairmen, and stuff like that. All that stuff goes back to scripture, really. Why would they say branch? Because the elites, they have a very good, solid understanding of certain biblical terms. Why you have things like summit. Verse 19, behold, these things, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish, send scourges for amendment, right? Something to make it change, to make the people change and go back and stop the wickedness. But for all these things, they should not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Exactly, but they're not going to turn away. Even though all these things are going to go down, they're just going to keep on doing it, Verse 21, behold, victuals, which is food and items and stuff like that, should be so good cheap upon earth. They shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Right? So evils are just going to grow upon earth. Even though people think that shit is sweet, things just going to continue to get worse. And now we're seeing this unicoin come up, universal monetary units, and stuff is just going to go down, even more and more. I remember hearing, I think it was last month or 2 months ago, neo-Nazis, they tried to take down the power grid. So you can't tell me that evils are not coming to this country. You can't tell me that. Evils 100% are coming to this country. All right, so yeah, as I said, the inflation is going to lead to the famines as more businesses close down, more key businesses that have supplies close down, or they start to pull back supplies and raise prices, So I believe that I hit the point for today. I think I gave you, brothers, the main stuff. I think I talked enough today. So I'm already standing up. So Panyaha Kodam. We say, and double honest, the elders and apostles, the great millstone who do rule and teach well. And that's it. Shalom.